Hey bros, we're back today for a brand new video in which I'll show you the brand new version of PS3. More and more people talking. Yes, you heard that right. Playing PlayStation 3 games directly on Android is no longer just a dream. With this new update, APS3E brings more stability, better performance, improved compatibility with certain games, and above all, a much cleaner experience than before. Now, let's be honest, it's not perfect yet. Not all PS3 games run properly yet. Some may crash, spit, or display a black screen, but compared to the old versions, there's clearly been a big improvement. So, in this video, I'll show you what's changed, the important new feature as the games that are starting to be released, the updates to know about, and most importantly, what kind of phone you need to enjoy APS3 in good conditions always. So stay tuned until the end, because if you like emulators, PlayStation games, and big gaming experiences on Android, this video might really interest you. So enough talking, let's get down to business. What used to make this video is a Red Magic 11 Pro, which has 512 gigabytes of internal storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Needless to Elite Gun 5 processor and Android 16, so to play games on the PlayStation 3 Android smartphone. With the APS3E emulator, the first thing to do is go to the Google Play Store to install the emulator in question. In question. Alright, so when you're on the Play Store, click the search option, and then in the search bar, type in APS3E. Once you've entered that, launch the search and bingo. You'll see the APS3E application icon in the search results. So you're going to click on the application icon, and all we have to do now is install it on our smartphone. So you're going to click on install. You also have the option to check the emulator's compatibility with your smartphone. To check this, all you have to do is go to about the emulator. So once the emulator is installed on our smartphone, we're going to exit the Google Play Store application, and bingo, here's the emulator in the menu of our smartphone. And now that we have the APS3 emulator on our smartphone, all that's left are the additional files for the emulator. So I'm going to show you the remaining elements. Here are the three remaining elements. First, we have the firmware file for the APS3 emulator. Then we have the drivers file for those who are having display issues. And finally, you need to have games. There you go, you are free to choose the game you want to play on your smartphone. So once you have all these elements there, the first thing to do is to move our games. So you are going to select all your games, and then you are going to hold down the emotes, and you're going to click on cut. Then you're going to go to the memory of our device, and once there, you're going to click on the plus at the top to create a new folder. And you are free to rename this folder however you want. The goal is to find it easily when configuring the APS3 emulator. So cool, I'm going to rename it Game PS3. And once that is done, you're going to click on the roundabout to paste your game files into this folder. Once that is done, we are going to stick to our base folder, and you can see that all that remains is the firmware file and the driver file. So you can do the same thing, move these two folders that you create yourself, or leave them in the folder where they are already stored. So I'm going to leave them in the APS3E folder that I created. So we've just finished the first step. So we're going to exit the Z Archive application and go to the APS3E emulator. Once in the APS3E emulator, we're going to move on to the emulator configuration. So you're going to click on next step once here and there. We're asked to install the firmware file. So you're going to click on select Fware, and you'll be redirected to your file manager. And once there, we're going to go to the folder where we stored the firmware file, and we're going to select it. And then all we have to do is wait for the firmware file to finish installing. Once that's done, you're going to click on the next step, and there you have it. We're asked to define a game directory in ISO format. So here, we're going to go back to the Z Archive application, more precisely to the folder in which we stored our PS3 games. So you can see that all our games are compressed in zip format. All we have to do here is separate the games in ISO format from the PKG format from the PKG. So here you can see Tekken Tag is in ISO format. Then when I take Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, you can see that it's in PKG format. So what we're going to do is extract all the games that are in ESO format first before dealing with those that are in PKG format. So we're going to extract the files in ISO format, and we'll see you right after the extraction. There you have it. I'm done extracting the files in ISO format. Let's remove these zip files from the ISO formats. They're no longer needed. There you go, so you're going to delete them. Once deleted, we're now going to take care of the PKG format files. So regarding the PKG format files, we're going to select them all and then create a new folder where we're going to store them. So to create a new folder, we're going to click on the three dots that are aligned at the top. Then you're going to click on create, then new folder, and you're going to rename this folder PKG. You're free to rename it however you like. So once the folder's created, you're now going to select all your game files in PKG format, and you're going to hold down the entry, and then you're going to click on cut, and we're going to click on cut, and we're going to go to this folder there. Now paste those game files inside that folder over there. So once the PKG game files are separated from the ISO game files, we're now going to extract each PKG game file to the archive name. You're going to do the same for each game file that is in PKG format, and we'll see you right after extracting these files there. So there you have it. We're done extracting the files in PKG format, and as you can see, each game is in a folder with the name of the game. So files in ZP format because we don't need them anymore to free up some space. So there you have it. We're done with this part. So we're going to go back to the APS3E emulator, continue with the emulator configuration. So here we were at the stage of defining game repeater in ISO format. So you're going to click on it and you're going to go to the folder in which you stored your games in ISO format. And once there, you're going to click on how to use this folder. Then you're going to click on authorize and bingo. We've just defined our game directory in ESO format. So we're going to click on next step, and here you're going to take the option for firmware, and then you're going to click on next step. When you get to this step, uncheck use custom driver, then click next step. Once here, click finish me, and you will automatically see your games in ISO format appear on the APS3 emulator interface because it installs automatically. As for games in PKG format, the installation is done manually. So to install your games in PKG format, click on the three dots, align at the top, then click install PKG, and you will be redirected. And you will be redirected to your folder manager. From there, navigate to the folder where you stored your games. Ensure they're in the PKG format. Once in this folder, you will install your games one by one. So I will use the example in large photo 5 and click on it, then select the game in PKG format and wait for the installation to finish. Once the installation is complete, refresh the APS3 emulator and you will see that the game will appear on the emulator interface. So once that's done, we're going to try to run the game and you see that it doesn't work. We're told that the games that aren't decrypted are not currently available on the APS3 emulator. But to fix this problem, we're going to install the additional file to decrypt the game. So you're going to click on the three dots at the top, and then you're going to click on install wrap pkg, and once there, we're going to go back to the grandfather folder, and you'll see that there are two files. So the first file is the game, and the second file is the one that will allow us to decrypt the game grandfather 5. Once selected, you're going to refresh the APS3E emulator and run the game again, and you'll see that it works perfectly. So you're going to do the same for all your other games, which will behave the same way. So now I'm going to install my games and we'll see you right after the installation. So after installing all your games in the APS3 emulator, you can run them to play them, but I recommend that you first configure the emulator for better optimization of the games. And
I bet you've never seen an app this fun. It's called Lupin. You start scrolling and you literally can't stop.
And the emulator's performance. Now we're going to move on to configuring the APS3 emulator. So after that, we're going to go to the emulator settings, and once there, we're going to go to the video option. So you're going to click on video. Once there, you're going to leave the rendering envelope, and we're going to go to resolution. For the resolution, you can leave it at 1020 x 720. This is the default resolution for phones, but I recommend that you choose the resolution of 720 x 480 for better optimization. After that, we're going to go to display radio. For the display area, if it is not in 169, you would change it to 169 format. After that, scroll all the way down and go to the precision chas. In precision shades, click and set it auto. Once that is done, scroll all the way down to find the stretch to display area option. Once you see this option there, click to enable it and then disable strict rendering mode. After that, scroll all the way down to find the resolution